So you're city of Tokyo. I'm at Tsukishima Station. This is a perfect place to kind of figure it out and learn what the differences are between the transportation here in the city and also how to get the tickets, where to ride it, which one is the best for you. How you doing, everybody? So I actually have a bunch of IC cards here in my pocket. I also was curious how it's changed because now that tourism is returning to Japan, we're going to need to learn a little bit more about how to get around again. Because just recently, Tokyo Metro has collaborated with the Toei, because there's two kinds of subways in Tokyo, to make a 24-hour pass, basically combining powers to make it easier for you. And all of this is listed on the vending machines to buy the tickets here. It's pretty interesting here. So, let me just explain to you a little bit about the Tokyo Metro system here. You can see the map. This is the Tokyo subway map for Toei and Metro. You can see all the colors in there. I used to live on that lime green line that cuts across the city. I used to live in a little town called Shinozaki. The purple one goes around the city. That's the Oedo line. That's part of the Toei, which is a Tokyo city subway. And then there's some other lines, like this light blue one that cuts across the city. That's the Tozai line. That's Metro, which is a different company. But, you can kind of figure it out. It's not as complicated as you think it might be, but it is a little complicated for the first time when you see that. This is a map that is just for JR. Now you can see the JR, I'm not even going to go there. These are the trains. Most of these are above ground. JR is even more complicated for the city of Tokyo. I think you kind of just need to know 2 or 3 lines. The Yamanote line, which is the green one that goes around the city. Then there's the yellow and orange one that cuts across the city. And that is the Sobu and Chuo Honsan, the Chuo line. And those cut across the city. That's the easiest way to get from Tokyo Station to Shinjuku, which is the line that cuts across the center there. That's all you pretty much need to ride in the city of Tokyo. The other ones are commuter lines that get around for long hauls. So most of the time, I think you're better off spending on the subway, right? Now, this is the thing that confuses me. Check it out here. I've got all these IC cards here. This is Ikoka. Ikoka is from Osaka, the Kansai region. I also have here Hayaken, which is from the Fukuoka region. Pasmo, which is from Tokyo. There's also Suica, which you know. There's a welcome Suica that you can get. I got this as a gift, but it's only available to tourists. And then there's this one here called the Kumamon IC card, which is regional. I even got my name put on it. It says Otokonoko, but I learned that you can only use this within the city of Kumamoto. So despite it being super cute, I couldn't actually use it. And all these IC cards, except for the Kumamon one, can be used nationwide, which is so confusing, right? So we got a question here. Mohammed writes in here, can I use Suica in Osaka? Yes, but you can't buy Suica in Osaka. Here's a map of the IC cards, the regional IC cards, and it is super confusing for first-timers here, but all these cards can be used anywhere in Japan. It's just the cards that you buy are regional. The Suica card, which is on the right side, is probably the most well-known because that's connected with Apple Pay. And then there's Pasmo, which is also part of the Tokyo region, which you can buy there. You can use that everywhere, but that's associated with Google Pay. So there's some segmentation of the payment systems for digital on smartphones, basically iOS and Google. But I think you can get the apps and use them on both. It's a little bit confusing, even to me, even now. The other regions, the Manaka, which is the Nagoya region. You have the Pitaka, which is also part of Osaka's region. Then the Sugoka, which is on the bottom there. That's the one I use right now. I kind of like it. It's cute. But my favorite is the Kitaka up in the Sapporo region and Hakodate. You can buy it there, and you can buy it and you use it in Tokyo, and it looks kind of cool because you're different. But you can charge it here as well, and I'm going to show you that right now. So a lot of these machines have these wireless chargers here. Check it out. So you can just put your IC card here. It'll tell you I have 1 yen left on that card. All right, let me take this out, and we're gonna try a different card here. Let's try this Passmo. Ah, I can't even use this card. I guess it's expired or something. How about this Hayaken? Doesn't say. Oh, no, it's got 0 on it. So all you can do is you put the card here, and you can put here the charge menu. You put in the money here, and when you put in 5,000 yen, 5,000 yen will show up. You push the button, then you can charge it. Don't touch it, and it'll come out. You'll have 5,000 yen on this card to use. It's kind of cool, huh? Now everyone's using these IC cards now, and it makes it so much easier. And one of the things that's unique about the IC cards is that you can also print out all of the purchase that you've done, so you can keep track of your money using these IC cards. But you can still buy tickets if you want to. There's also I'm not walking from one side to the other for a reason. The reason why I picked this station for a reason. This is an interchange between Tokyo Metro and Toei, which is the private and the city subway systems. And the vending machines here are different, and they're not as nice. You can see here, they don't have the same kind of, you have to actually insert your card to be able to charge it. So you can charge up to 20,000 yen. And you can change languages here to English.
All fare information will be displayed in English.
You can charge in 10 yen units, which is pretty cool. So if you just want to get 50 yen, you can add just 50 yen to the card. That's really cool. Not all the machines are the same though. So you have to push cancel there. So you have to, sometimes you have to walk around to find one. Personality of Brick Wall writes in here, speaking of IC expiry, I still have mine from 2019. I hear the expiration date is 3 to 5 years. Don't know if that's true or not. I know that they kind of expire. So before you leave Japan, if you're not sure and you have a lot of money on there, you might want to try to get that back. Also, each one of these cards is worth 500 yen. So you have to put a deposit on the card. And when you leave Japan, you can get your money back, which is why these might be really great. This is the welcome card, and you can actually keep this one. It doesn't have any monetary value. Might be a reason to pick this one up at the airport in Narita, but again, it's only available to tourists. I want to show you some more maps here. To make this even more confusing, this is the map of JR Metro. Somebody did this. JR Metro and Toei all together. That's how many train lines that go through Tokyo. And this isn't even including the buses. It's just one of the most amazingly connected cities in the world. And I think when you get to know the transportation, you really start to know the city. So everybody who's been to Japan or to Tokyo for the second or third time can understand, you feel like you understand the city better, right? I think that's pretty much the case there. I also learned that if you're coming to Tokyo and you get a 24-hour pass, which is this new thing that they just started here. Check this out. Tokyo Metro has a 24, 48, and a 72-hour pass. You can buy it at that vending machine that I was showing you. They even have posters in the station to try to promote this, which is great. This is something I think that I didn't think that this existed before. The prices are fairly reasonable too on these. So I think it's 800 yen for 24 hours, 1,200 yen for 48 hours, and 1,500 yen for 72 hours. So you kind of get like a 100 yen discount for each day, or 200 yen discount for each day that you go. So sometimes it might be worth it to do that. But I personally, I would never get that because I don't know, unless you're really going back and forth, you don't need it. And if a lot of the attractions are pretty close, my friends at tokyocheapo.com, which is a great guide for getting around Japan, check this out. They put together a walking map, which is on their website. Let me see, do I have it here? Oh, here it is. This is the Tokyo Cheapo walking map. Just gonna go like here. You can see that what they've done was they take the distances between the stations and tell you how many minutes approximately it takes to walk from one to the other. So sometimes walking is a better way to get around. You don't need to get on a subway, and sometimes you don't need to change trains. The line that you're on might get you pretty close. It's kind of redundant or a waste of time to walk to another station to get there. Let me give you a case in point here. This is really important to kind of understand the Tokyo transportation system from the mind of a local here. I no longer do it. So I made a little movie here. Check this out. So I used to live in a town called Shinozaki. This is Tokyo right now. We're gonna zoom right in here. Shinozaki is on the outskirts of the city of Tokyo. You can see right there, coming in on the right side. And I want to go to Akihabara, so I would often take the train to go to Akihabara. And my train line was the Toei Shinjuku line, which is this lime green line. And you can see straight through the center, that road is actually the Toei Shinjuku line follows that road. There's Akihabara Station coming in the view. But the first year, I would change trains, and I learned that if I just got off at Iwamotocho Station, I could walk to Akihabara in less than 5 minutes. And you can see there's Chuo Avenue, there's a Yodobashi camera, the Yamanote line, the Chuo line, and the Shinjuku line. So you just have to find out. Which line is. Sometimes the stops are so close that, like, I was literally going at the next station to catch a line that would take me to Akihabara Station. But when I looked at the map and I started to work this out, I said, you know what? There was a lot of places I just had to walk a few more minutes, and I wouldn't need to change trains anywhere. That also saved me a little bit of money. The thing between the two subway stations that you do have to keep in mind here. Let me put up another map for you. This is the JR map, sorry. The Toei and Metro are still different companies, all right? So this is the Toei line, you can see they're thicker. There's only 4 Toei lines, 5 if you include the trolley that they have up in the north, the Toden line. But the circle line for Toei is the red-purple one, right, that goes around. That's Oedo line. Then there's the Asakusa line, which is the orange one that cuts through from north to south. The Toei Shinjuku line, which is one I used to live on, the lime green one. And then the blue one, which is the Mita line. If you live on the Toei line, you almost exclusively use this, and you try to find a way to connect on just a Toei. Because if you connect with Metro, you have to pay more. You have to pay Metro. So the ticket prices are usually like 30 or 35% more by using Toei and Metro. So you want to stick to one or the other, which is why maybe the 24-hour pass might work out a little bit better for you if you're riding it a lot. You don't have to then worry about that anymore. Also, the great thing with using the IC cards is that you don't have to worry about the tickets, which is also always an issue before the IC cards came in. It was really hard to always navigate the trains. Let me take you now to the ticket machine. Show you here. This machine will show you all of the passes that they have. Let's change it to English for you.
All fare information will be displayed.
Value ticket is the one that you want to go for. When you do this, it brings up a menu for all of the day passes available in the city of Tokyo. It's amazing. Toei is the line that I used to live on. So if you want a one-day pass just for Toei, it is actually 100 yen cheaper than to get the subway passes. So if you know you're just going to be on Toei, you would get that pass. If you want to take both of them, you'd pay 100 yen more. You'd be able to get the 24-hour pass. They also have the 72 and the 48-hour passes here. You can also get the JR passes, which connect here too, which is the Greater Tokyo Pass, which is kind of expensive. But I think it doesn't tell you which one. It says here, the tickets you're attempting to purchase is for international travels from overseas. What? I can't even get it. All right. That stinks. And then there's the Tokyo Free Kip. This one includes JR as well. So I'm on an issue. So they want to keep you on Passmo. So you can get a paper. If you don't have a Passmo, you can still get a paper ticket, which is good to know. Yeah. The prices to get around, you can take a look right here. It starts at 100 and, Toei was always was a little bit more. It starts at 180 yen, and after about 3 stations, it goes up to 220 yen. And after about 10 stations, it'll go up to 280 yen. And then if you keep on going out further, it'll go 330 and then 380. So you can get around for under $3 pretty far. And a hop on the subway is about $1.50, which is really cheap if you compare it to other transportation around here. Tsukishima Station is good because you can transfer between Toei and Shinjuku. The Yurakucho line is also here as well as the Oedo line. So let's go over to the other one right now. I just think that Toei's doing a really good job because their vending machines are better, but some of the newer ones are starting to be installed in all of them. This one actually takes credit cards. Wait a second, let me see if I can charge. Can you charge your card with a credit card? That would be something quite new. I use a Sugoka card. I think you have to use cash for charging. Yeah, you can't charge with a credit card. So I have 2,100 yen. I could print out all of my purchases. Let me see here. So it'll tell me all the places that I've been, Shinjuku, Akihabara, Tsukishima, Motoyawata. So I've been to a lot of places here. And then you can print it out, which is kind of cool. Gives me back my card. And now I have a receipt of all the places that I've been and all the money that I spent. That's cool, huh? And it'll tell me where I charged as well. So now you know where I've been too. All over the place. Michael writes in here, it's too damn complicated and they wonder why people don't take public transport. I think it is complicated the first time you come here. 1 second. I think it is complicated the first time you come here, but this is why I think if you are coming to Tokyo or Osaka, it makes a lot of sense to get to know the public transportation, because as I said, if you get to know the public transportation, you actually feel like you know the city. And that's huge. If you have a JR Rail Pass, a lot of people will stick with JR. If you're gonna take the subway, the metro, you probably stick with the metro. This is the way it used to be, but now with the passes all coming together, people are using metro and Toei just interchangeably, and it made it a lot easier for tourists. We could just hop on the subway. But I'll put a link to the PDF, and if you want, download that and just print it out, and then get to know your area. And take a look at tokyocheapo.com and find out if you can just walk. Sometimes you save money, get some exercise, you see more stuff above ground, and it's a pretty cool experience. I walked across the city many times. The first time was in 2005, and it took me 12 hours to get from Futako, the Tamagawa River, to the Edogawa. I literally cut across there. It took 12 hours to walk the whole city. Tokyo is not that big, the center of the metropolitan area. It's not that busy. You can get from Tokyo Station to Shinjuku, you can walk that in like 2 hours. It's about maybe 2 hours and 20 minutes about. You can walk around the entire Yamanote line, which is 44 kilometers, about the same as a marathon. That took me 11 to 12 hours, if I recall. Yeah, 12 hours to walk around the entire Yamanote line. So just if you want to stop and get ice cream, which is what we did several times. But it is important to know your stops here. Tsukishima is a great place to get to know because, well, because this is where you would transfer to the Yurakucho line, and this is a really useful one if you're going to Tokyo Disneyland. Yurakucho line takes you to Shinkiba, which is the connection to the JR line for Tokyo Disneyland. So a lot of people will walk through here holding Disney dolls. I know it does seem really complicated. It's not as bad. I think they've done a really good job, especially with the color coding. You see that? And everything has been coming into English. They've actually, I think it was about 12 years ago, or no, when they announced that the Olympics were coming here, they put numbers on the stations with a letter, like N06, M16. I've never used these, all right? I think it's mostly for tourists. We just use the name of the place. But if you're not sure, you can say like T13 is Kiba. I think they did this more because it made sense for tourists, but I've never used that before. Oedo line, which starts with an O, is actually an E. Like, I think most locals don't know this because they don't. It's something that's pretty new still. It's kind of cool, right? It's just, for me, this map, it was confusing because it's like, why do they have all these IC cards, these smart cards? The answer is, I don't really know. Let's go outside here. I could take some of your questions. I don't really know why they decided to do all of this, but I'm guessing that there is some functionality. Areas wanted to charge their card in Osaka, maybe that's good for that region, but if they charge the card and they have an Osaka card in Tokyo, does the money go back to Osaka? I'm not sure. But I'll tell you this. As we come out, beautiful day today. It makes a lot of sense to have Suica because it connects up with smartphones really easily. So if you want to use your smartphone to be able to tap stuff, you can do that. The great thing about the IC cards, I think a lot of you already know this, you can buy anything with them now. Vending machines, convenience stores. In fact, do I have the graphic here? Almost every, I don't have it here. Almost every single shop, including supermarkets, will take IC cards for payment. Boop, and you've paid. It's touchless. It's so beautiful. Now, credit cards are starting to have touchless systems, and more Japanese places are starting to take those touchless credit cards. Not all of them do yet, but even the post office takes touchless payment for everything, including some online services like one called PayPay, which has been expanding, so very aggressively promoting it. You can buy anything with PayPay as well. They give you points back, and the system's all making things a lot easier, but I don't think a lot of people visiting Japan are going to be using PayPay. I think it's mostly a thing for domestic audience here. Anybody have any questions? I'm looking here. Cards can only be returned in the areas where they were purchased. I don't know. I've never returned a card. I just collect them. I think that might be true. But a Passmo card can only be returned to a Passmo. Maybe the areas get the money for the cards. Perhaps that makes a lot of sense here. If you buy an Ikoka card, that's 500 yen to Osaka, and they're in rail network, which is Nishi Nihon. Higashi Nihon is Tokyo, and that's the Suica card, so that goes to the Higashi Nihon JR group. And Passmo goes to the Metro, so those two cards are interchangeable. You can use them on either network. It's money. But it's, yeah, sometimes there's a micro discount on using IC cards too, I found. Like you'll save 1 yen or 2 yen, as it was a way to encourage people to use IC cards. I guess they still do that, but if you travel a lot, it sort of adds up. You can get a free dinner out of it after a year, maybe. The ticket machines are everywhere. I mean, I don't know what I can tell you too much about it, but I can tell you this. Not a lot of people go to those ticket machines other than to charge their IC cards. I still buy tickets though. You know why? Because sometimes I forget my IC card or I lose it. Because my IC card is in my iPhone case, right? My IC card is in my iPhone case, and I just open my case and I touch it. I still don't want to put it on my phone yet, because I don't know. I kind of like having it. It's very much like a debit card, Michael, very much so. You don't get any points or anything like that. It's just about convenience. And during the pandemic, IC cards were encouraged even more because of the touchless payment. People were buying in more because we didn't know how this stuff worked, so they didn't want to touch cash and coins, so people were using IC cards. Now everybody is pretty much on the IC card bandwagon here. I don't think it's even a bandwagon, it is mainstream. It is the wagon. You can use a smartphone for a ticket. Yeah, a lot of people do that. You can actually use your smartphone for the ticket for Shinkansen, which is crazy. So you can just, if you didn't want to buy a ticket, you can get a Juseki, just touch your phone to the thing if you have the app installed, and boom, there you go, you're off. You can even make reservations online now. So all of this is starting to evolve. The thing is though, I think until about a year ago, a lot of it was just really fractured, meaning all these systems were all over the place and everyone was trying to vie to be the #1 dominant payment system. And now we're finding out like, nah, you know what? You're all gonna have to work together. And it's gonna be really hard to start something new now in this space, I think, because now we have so many, too many. Apple Pay, I haven't been able to find that to be so useful in Japan, but I'm sure that there's places where you can use it. I found that PayPay, which is their system, a domestic system, is probably the biggest and most. That's a pretty cool Porsche right there. Wow. Rakuten Pay is also quite big. Yeah, see, I think that all of these companies now are starting to work together, but to try to give value to consumers. But really, you're going to pick the network, you're going to pick the service that is most convenient for you. If you use Rakuten a lot, you're going to use Rakuten. I'm surprised they don't have like an Amazon Pay. They probably do. But since the pandemic, we use Amazon quite a bit. That is a cool looking car. Thanks for joining me here, you guys. We're talking about transportation in Japan, getting around, making it easier. These robots have been increasing. They're the package delivery robots. There's actually a place where you can try these out down the street, but the package delivery robots are on the streets here in Tsukishima. It's kind of cool to see that. They deliver stuff. I don't know. Japan is light years ahead in some ways, and in other ways, it's far, far behind. Is Uber in Japan? There is Uber here. I met the person in charge of Uber at a US embassy function last year, so I might be making an episode on how the taxis work here. But IC cards can also be used in taxis too. And I found that sometimes if you have a family, it's easier to take a taxi or just call an Uber than it is to get everybody to go underground, get onto the subway, come back out after waiting for a train and then a change. Where if you have 3 or 4 people, the price of the taxi would have been pretty much the same, and you would have saved a lot of time and less stress. Taxis are awesome here. They're a little bit expensive. They start at I think it's 430 yen. They reduced the price for the starting fee, but the total it ends up being about the same anyways, because the total starts to jump a lot quicker now. So in the end, it comes out to the same, but they lowered the price to encourage people to get on the taxis for shorter trips, especially since Japan has more senior citizens. Regarding the Eiichiro Yuzawa Shinkansen stream, what should I do if I find myself in a situation like you and there's no space left for a large suitcase I'm carrying? That's a great question. If you are riding JR trains, especially the Shinkansen, I never had a problem with large luggage though. But if you do, you need to make a reservation for oversized baggage. This is something you need to do in advance. JR has seats available for people who have too much bags or luggage. They now reserve the spaces behind. Before the pandemic, you could just put your suitcase behind the last seat in the cars. There's like an open space and that would be fine. Some of the Shinkansen have racks now too, but you need to reserve that space because there are too many people bringing in oversized luggage. The moment you come to Japan, if you know the times you're leaving the trains, reserve those oversized luggage spaces so that you have a place to put bags, especially if you can't fit them in the overhead above. Don't be that person who puts the bag by your feet, so then you block in everybody, right? There's the person who blocks traffic, blocks the people who are by the window and they bring their suitcases in. You know who I'm talking about. No one in Japan does that. That's only the tourists who do that. If you have a big suitcase, that's one way to go. But my advice to everybody, if you've got a JR Rail Pass and you're going to be using the Shinkansen a lot, probably leave your big suitcase at a hotel home base or something. Sometimes you can leave it there for several days. Put it in a left luggage place. It'll make your life a lot easier. You don't need to bring that much stuff unless you're staying here for a month. And if you are, you can do the laundry. I tell everybody this all the time. But you don't want to be riding the subway or the public transportation in the morning hours between 7 and 9:30, maybe even 10. You probably want to stay off of that with large luggage. And then in the evening, starting around 5:30 to midnight, it can get pretty crowded. Probably don't want to bring large luggage there. Easier to take a taxi. Please take a taxi if you've got a lot of luggage. There's taxi stands in front of every station. Get a taxi, spend the money. Don't be one of those people everyone's talking about. Like, why did you have to take the subway? If you have that much luggage, everybody takes a taxi. Could you buy clothes there if needed? You absolutely could. In fact, when I traveled, I would often buy the jacket in the other country because then it was always something when I came back home, like a memory of the travels. Uniqlo is pretty reasonable. You don't have to spend a lot of money to get clothes here in Japan. The only problem is if you have an unusual size, that might be an issue. Although the Uniqlo in Ginza has up to 4XL size, so that should be okay for everybody. Any other questions? I'm really happy to hear from you guys about this here topic. This is the list for the 24-hour pass for Metro. Here's a list of the prices from the Japan Web Magazine. They wrote it there. It's 800 yen, 1,200 yen, and 1,500 yen for 24, 48, and 72 hours. I think that's pretty affordable. I think so. The J-Vlog writes in here, large luggage I send it Takubin. That's another thing. I mean, I wanted to do another stream on this. It's always good to talk about it. The biggest, I think I've already mentioned this like several times. If you have a lot of luggage, you just want to get rid of one or two of your bags, you can leave it at the hotel. Then I would give us a little bit of thought. Drop it off before 4 p.m. at the hotel and say, I'd like to send this to the next hotel. If they pick it up at that day, overnight, it'll be moved to the next location, and by the time you check in at the next hotel, if it's not too far away, it'll be there. It's cool. And it's about, I don't know, like $20 for the service. It's not that much. The hotels always, it depends on the quality of your hotel, but almost all hotels have the tags for Takubin, which is a delivery service like UPS, and they will pick up your bags, take it to the next destination, and they handle it with care in Japan. Nobody will kick your bag that you know of. They won't do that. So it's worth considering that as an option. But I still think pack light. Don't bring a lot of stuff. Wear the same clothes every day. It doesn't matter that much. You can do the laundry. I bring one to wash and one to wear. And especially unless it's summer, you're not changing your clothes a lot. It's okay to, wear the same t-shirt twice, maybe, for some people. I don't sweat that much, really, now. How common is it? The delivery robots probably just in Tokyo right now, and they're increasing. It's pretty cool. The batteries last a while. I've seen them increasing in this area. We'll see how this shapes up here. Already the McDonald's, there's a massive line. Look at this. People are queuing to go into the, that's not so massive. People queuing to go into the McDonald's. Last August, I sweated so much I changed 3 times a day. Yeah, you wring out the t-shirt and then you wash it. Most hotels, well, Appa hotels, that's a lot of hotels, have washing machines and you can wash it when you get back to the hotel. But if you go to Uniqlo, you can get 3 t-shirts for 1,000 yen. They're almost disposable. In fact, they got t-shirts at Daiso at the 100 yen shop. So that means you can get 10 for 1,000 yen. It's not maybe the best thing for the planet, but neither is carrying extra suitcases. I don't know. I just know when I see people with a suitcase bigger than they are, there's a problem. Sending back souvenirs, that's a great question. So if you're visiting Japan and you want to send this stuff back, you can do it from Tokyo Post Office, Japan Post, but right now there's no small packet, which is the main way I would send packages to Jason, who's here, and a lot of the Daimyo supporters on Patreon. By the way, the Daimyo level is open, so if you'd like to join and get a package from Japan, anybody can get it right now on Patreon. The rates are pretty high though. EMS, let me see here. For 1 kilogram, I think it was about $50 to send it. Yeah, about $40 or $50 to send it 1 kilogram to the United States. The United States is more expensive than Canada because the rates, I don't know, US is a special zone right now for Japan Post. Or you can send it C-mail, but there's no budget option right now. You can try to make a deal with DHL if you have an account with them. You can try to make a deal with Takubin, which does international services. But yeah, it can be a little pricey. C-mail takes 3 months minimum, maximum. I don't know. They say 1 to 3 months. I sent stuff in November. It arrived in January and February, so 3 to 4 months. So it depends. C-mail. C-mail is also trackable too, so you can get a code and track items if you pay a little bit extra, I think. Yeah. The multiple suitcases are for shopping. Yeah, I think that, you know what you can do? Buy your suitcase at Don Quixote. It's like, or Ameyoko. It's like $20 or $30. You can get a plastic shell suitcase. You don't need to bring an empty suitcase with you. You can just buy it here if you need it. But you can also buy duffel bags that are pretty cheap, and you put your clothes in the duffel bag, and then you put everything that's breakable in your hard shell. I can't figure out the reason why you need to bring all the extra suitcases. Christian's here. Thank you, buddy. T-shirt sizes. All right, I can break this down for you really quickly. I'm in the U.S. I'm a medium. I used to be a large in college, and then the sizes changed. So I'm now a medium in the U.S., but in Japan I'm an extra large because the shoulders don't fit. There it goes again. It's got a license plate. Do you see that? It's got a license plate number on it, so it can cross the street. I don't know. Is that because it needs to be a vehicle? That's pretty cool. Great Q&A here, guys. Yeah, you can get a cheap duffel bag at Ameyoko. There's a department store which is closed now that's renovating. It's called Takeya. It's the cheapest place for luggage that I've seen. Don Quixote, you can get a duffel bag for like $15, $20. It's just throw your stuff in it. You can buy anything in Japan and maybe even cheaper depending on where you shop. There's no reason for you to have to bring everything from home. The adventure is about packing light. You know, if you really want to be adventurous, bring your smartphone, your wallet, and a toothbrush. That's it. And then and maybe your laptop and just and a camera, which is your smartphone. That's it. That's adventure. Think about how free you are. You don't have to do anything, right? You want new clothes, you buy it. Maybe put it in a day pack. John, is there a map for vending machines? What do you mean? So basically, they're on every corner. So I don't know. Undies, you can buy new ones here. I like the Uniqlo ones. Undies,
The Heat Tech and the Dry Tech undies are wonderful. Just buy, you can get, sometimes if they got the deal, you can buy 2 for 1,000 yen. And they dry so fast. Those Dry Tech ones, you can wash them in the sink. You put them up 2 hours later or less than that, they're dry. You can get the hair, sometimes if I want to dry them faster, I just use the hair dryer in the hotel room. Undies, t-shirts, never been a problem. You get disposable ones, or you can not wear them at all. Just don't tell me about it. Don't tell me about it. But the Airism stuff, and for the person who said they had to change their t-shirt 3 times, get that Airism t-shirt at Uniqlo, because the sweat goes through it. It's amazing, those t-shirts that they have. The sweat goes through it and you always feel dry. So you have to save some money, save some hassle. But there are washing and drying machines all around Tokyo. There's a couple of them around here I found when I was walking around. So I mean, look, again, no reason to pack another suitcase. You know what, pack and then go back and take out half of it because you don't need it. You literally do not need it. Anyone with those big suitcases, what do you got inside that you need? I don't understand. Uniqlo, if you go to the online store, you can have anything delivered to your hotel. You can go to amazon.co.jp and have it delivered to your hotel. Amazon Japan takes, on average, 24 hours or less to get to any location in Tokyo. It is crazy. Even from a warehouse in Osaka, if you order it the night before, it arrives to you the next day. You can have it delivered to your hotel. If you need a jacket, it's on Amazon. If you need it from Uniqlo, they can deliver it to your hotel in 24 hours or less. You can go to the Ginza Uniqlo, they got winter stuff, even in the summer. They have a little department because they know that people are they're going down under New Zealand or something and might need a jacket. Or you can go to Mont Bell or some of the other places and they got that stuff. You know, it's not an issue. Germany, I just saw Germany pop up here. Hello from Germany. Guten Tag. Yeah, you can get everything in Japan that you need, and it's cool to bring that back home. You didn't need to bring your underwear. Give your underwear a break. Let it stay at home. It doesn't need to travel with you. Bring one for the road and one to wash. Buy the rest here. Just makes sense, right? Don't know. Yeah, there you go. So if you're coming to Japan, download this map here. I think I have it here. Download this map. I'm going to put a link in the description. It might not be there yet. It's a PDF. It's in English. I highly recommend that you download the Japanese one and get familiar with the Japanese names. It's just kind of cool because the first kanji that I started to recognize were the locations. And then you see them repeated and repeated. And that's when you start to pick up kanji. And then you start to think, this is really cool. I'm kind of getting it now. But download this map and then you can see all the places, how to get there. And then go to tokyocheapo.com. I love those. I love the guys there and the girls, all the people. And download this map or print it out because it gives you the estimated walking time from one station to the next. And then this way you can kind of figure out maybe you don't need to get back on the subway, or maybe you don't even need the subway at all. If you're taking a taxi, you can cut that down to maybe 1/10 of the time that's listed there. And then that's the time it probably takes by taxi. If you're going by bicycle, you can cut that by 1/3. That's how I kind of figure it out. This walking guide from Tokyo Cheapo is awesome. I'm so thankful that they did this, and I'm thankful to the person who walked every station. I wonder who it was. I wonder if they actually did do that. I gotta ask my friend Greg. Who actually walked it? Probably Greg, if you think about it. And if you do travel to Japan, do not hesitate to get a card, a Kitaka card, because I love the flying squirrel if you're up in Sapporo, or a Sugoka card. That's the one down there. That's down in Kyushu in the Kagoshima area. I love Sugoka card too. Leo likes the character, a little froggy looking guy. But I like having the regional cards because it's just kind of cool. It makes you feel like you're somewhere else. Yeah. You could also just use Google Maps. I put up an asset here. Do I have it on the phone? Google Maps does a really good job of showing you all the subway on the map, so you can kind of guesstimate looking at that too. It's pretty convenient. And Kuran went to every Singapore MRT. That's pretty impressive. Having the Suica card's pretty cool too. I'm just saying, I like the Kitaka card. Kanai too. She likes to have the flying squirrel. Yeah. Kelvin writes in here they're valid for 10 years. Thank you, Kelvin. All right, that's all I got. I hope this is useful for you. It gives you an idea of getting around the city of Tokyo. The best thing to do, print out that PDF, look at it on the airplane, get an idea of where your hotel is, and kind of map out in your mind how to get from place to place. Yahoo Transit is a Yahoo Japan, which they still use Yahoo here in Japan. It's crazy, right? You can write in the English name to the stations, and it'll give you out the fastest way to get from one place to the other. I use another app from the Japan store that helps me navigate from one place to another. But sometimes I just know, because I know the map pretty well, which is the fastest way to get to A to B. And once you get to know Tokyo and you like know all the places from public transportation, you feel like you know the city really well. And it makes you want to come back too, because you invested the time to get to know the city. That knowledge is power, man. It really is. You can use Google Maps to get around as well. I'm just saying that there's other things. The locals everybody here uses Yahoo pretty much, or one of the apps. But Google Maps does a pretty good job of it too. Bye everybody, see you from Tsukishima Station. Go try to find some lunch here. But leave me a question below if you find if you need some help. And the Discord server, everybody, if you are in Japan, people are helping people. And if you have questions, you can ask people that are on the ground right now who are living in Japan or staying in Japan, and they will help you. You don't have to wait for me. The people are there. See everybody.